Hey guys, Noah here, and welcome back to another segment of Noah's Narrations. In this story, two close friends find their entire lives turned upside down when a violent zombie apocalypse plagues their small town and ruins the biggest game of their season. They have little else but each other, as they're forced to abandon their friends and family and flee for safety as the rampaging hordes tear their town to pieces. This is the story of Baseball Bloodbath. Two players escape from zombie America. Alex had always loved to play baseball. He plays it every weekend with his best friend and teammate, Austin. They always scored together and were the coach's two best star players. One fateful day, however, in the middle of an intense match, screams and explosions could be heard, interrupting the game. People were screaming as zombies flooded the stadium, tearing into the crowds and mauling innocent people as they tried to flee and panic. Not knowing what else to do, Alex grabbed Austin as they fled the stadium for their lives. The zombies were all over the news. America had been torn apart in mere days. Alex had no idea what was going on. Austin grabbed Alex by the arm, and they both fled into an abandoned warehouse for shelter. It was cold and dark, but they felt safe there. Alex was so scared he couldn't stop crying while thinking about the family he was forced to leave behind. Austin tried to cheer him up, but knew he couldn't. The zombies were everywhere, and if they made too much of a sound, they could be discovered. Austin tried to comfort Alex, and while putting a hand on his shoulder, confessed his biggest secret to him, that he had always liked Alex and was glad he was safe. Alex was confused but couldn't help reciprocate. He was glad Austin was safe as well. Having no better place they could call a safe haven, they both agreed to stay in the warehouse overnight, wrapping up close to each other to stay warm. They were tired, hungry, and both terrified. They only had each other in that moment. Alex woke up first to find Austin still asleep next to him. He looked peaceful, even though everything around them was chaos. He gently shook Austin awake. "Hey," he whispered. "We should probably try to figure out what we're gonna do." Austin stretched and yawned before sitting up next to Alex. He ran a hand through his messy hair. "Yeah," he said with a nod. "You're right." They stood up and stretched their stiff muscles before taking a look around the warehouse. It was mostly empty, except for a few crates stacked against one wall. Alex rummaged through the crates and found a few bottles of water and some energy bars. He handed one of each to Austin. "Breakfast," he said with a small smile. Austin took the food gratefully and sat back down on the floor. "Thanks," he said, his voice full of gratitude. They ate in silence for a few minutes, their minds still reeling from the events of the previous day. The sounds of screaming and gunfire echoed in their ears. Finally, Alex broke the silence. "So, what the hell are we gonna do?" he asked, his voice filled with uncertainty. Austin looked up at him, his blue eyes filled with determination. "We need to find a way out of town," he said firmly. "If we stay here, we might get spotted. Then we're screwed." Alex silently nodded in agreement. He didn't like the idea of leaving the only safe haven they had right now, but knew deep down Austin was right. They couldn't stay here. One loud clang, one peek at the window at the wrong time, literally anything could give them away, and they'd have nowhere to run when that happens. It was better to flee while they still had a chance. Austin stood up and walked over to one of the broken windows that lined the walls of the warehouse. He peered outside, scanning the area for any signs of danger. After a moment, he turned back to Alex with a grin on his face. "I've got an idea," he said excitedly. Alex raised an eyebrow in question. "What kind of idea?" he asked cautiously. Austin's grin widened as he explained his plan to Alex. They could use their baseball skills to distract the zombies while they made their escape. Alex was confused by this proposal, but Austin pointed out that there were crowbars sat besides the crates and various junk inside that could act as makeshift baseballs. Austin suggested that they could make noise by batting rocks and other makeshift junk as far away from them as possible, throwing them through glass windows and making a distraction so they could escape. The zombies would follow the noise, giving them enough time to run in the opposite direction. Alex thought it was an amazing plan. He couldn't believe how smart Austin was. They immediately set to work in grabbing whatever they could use so they could plan their escape. Grabbing 2 of the crowbars as makeshift weapons just in case they needed to defend themselves. The zombies were more spread out now, and when the coast seemed clear, they put their plan into action. Austin went first. He used his crowbar like a bat and hurled a rock straight through a nearby window, causing a smash loud enough to get the attention of every zombie in the area. As soon as they ducked around the corner, Alex passed another rock to Austin so he could do the same. Every rock they hurled through a window gave them a small window of survival, and as long as they were careful, as long as they stayed out of eyesight, they had a chance to flee the town they both once called home and flee to safety. Once Austin and Alex had escaped the suburban neighborhoods and left the back roads, they both decided to run as fast as they could, not looking back. The adrenaline pumping through their veins as they made their escape from the town, torn apart by this nightmare. They ran for what felt like hours before finally stopping to catch their breath. They found a small abandoned house close to a farm and decided to stay there for the night. They both took turns keeping watch while the other slept. It was cold and dark, but they felt safe there. They stayed close together for warmth. Austin held on to Alex tightly, never wanting to let him go. In that moment, they were more than just friends. They were survivors, fighting against all odds to stay alive in a world gone mad. And no matter what happened next, they knew that as long as they had each other, they could face anything. Thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider subscribing. It would really mean a lot as it does help this channel grow. Well, until next time, guys, take care.